In episode 133 for August 10th, 2020, what we can learn from the big Twitter hack, why everyone is trying to ban TikTok, and pharmacy chain Rite Aid's use of facial recognition cameras. We just did an episode with our friends at Undatify about how the big tech companies collect our private data and how to delete it. Now, there are lots of reasons to delete or remove our data from the big tech companies, but there isn't a lot of talk about why we should occasionally get off the grid and take a break from our smart devices altogether. And one way you can easily do this is by using a silent pocket Faraday sleeve, which will block all wireless signal, keeping you less distracted and more focused on important things like your friends and family. Pick up your own Faraday sleeve at silentpocket.com, and don't forget to take 15% off your order using discount code SHAREDSECURITY at checkout.
Hi, it's Scott Wright here from ClickArmor with an early reminder that October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And don't you think it's time to put some fun and innovation into your security awareness training program? ClickArmor is the first gamified learning platform that helps build cyber herd immunity within your organization. Our innovative gamified learning challenges and exercises are perfect for helping people experience real-life risks and helping you measure your own team's vulnerability and proficiency. Whether you need to quickly deploy a training solution that gets people to stop clicking on things, or you have your own boring content that just needs to be put into a more interesting user experience, ClickArmor can help. So please go to clickarmor.ca/sharedsecurity to find out how you can build cyber herd immunity in your organization.
Welcome to episode 133 of the Shared Security Show, and joining me is the always fabulous and opinionated Kevin Johnson.
I need glitter now because I'm fabulous.
Glitter is falling from the ceiling. The audience that's listening to this is not seeing the video. No, there is no glitter.
No glitter.
No glitter. Hey, how you doing, Kevin?
I'm pretty good. Busy, which is awesome. Yeah, we're busy. We're hiring.
That's great. So if is this a pen tester position that you're hiring?
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually hiring for two positions.
Okay.
One is a senior consultant position, and we're looking for people who have IT backgrounds, developer backgrounds, and we're also hiring for I don't want to say a junior developer, but like somebody getting started out in the industry as a developer to come on board.
Great. Well, we will post that. Do you have a job link or something that we could post in our? Nope.
No.
Okay, then great. You can contact Kevin directly.
Just send me an email.
Yeah, just send Kevin an email if you're interested.
And don't send me your resume because for obvious reasons, I don't open PDFs and Word docs or email to me.
Gee, wonder why.
Yeah, we actually ruled out a consultant candidate that way because they emailed us a PDF. Mm-hmm. And I wrote back to him and said, hey, we'd be interested to talk to you, but I haven't opened your resume because it's a PDF, and for obvious reasons, I don't. So he emailed me back a Word format of his resume with a message that said, I hope this is better.
Oh, boy. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. So normally we would be out in Las Vegas this week, Kevin.
Yeah. This was actually the year I was going to go back to DEF CON. I haven't been to DEF CON in years just because of schedules.
And look what happened. You're still at home.
I ruined it. I ruined it for everybody. Yeah, we were going to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Secure Ideas this weekend. Because it is. Sorry.
Yeah, and there would have been a lot of celebration just, by nature of being in Las Vegas and Hacker Summer Camp and Black Hat and DEF CON. And I did want to issue a correction on the show. I had said a while back that DEF CON was officially canceled, and that is partially true. But this year they actually did move forward with a virtual, it's called DEF CON Safe Mode, which is actually happening this week. We're actually recording this on a Friday, so by the time you listen to this episode, DEF CON will be over, but they actually did a virtual conference this year, and they will have all the videos. If you go to defcon.org, you can view all the talks that happen virtually. So just a correction on that. But we do have lots of news this week. This has been a very news-heavy week, Kevin. Yeah. And in fact, this is the week that we found out, I think, a lot more details about that infamous Twitter hack that happened, which was apparently caused by a 17-year-old quote unquote mastermind.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. But I mean, my opinion is this is kind of a complete failure in terms of not just OPSEC from the attacker side, but also just on the security side as well. So I wanted to ask you, what happened here and what can we all learn from this?
Don't fall for social engineering.
Number one.
But that's such a dumb answer, right? Because we know we're going to fall for social engineering.
Of course.
It's human nature. I think that in my mind, ignoring what we should learn as attackers, and I think those are easy lessons. Don't use your real driver's license or email address. But from a corporate aspect, I think that what we should learn is to be prepared for the inevitable failure of your users. And I'm not trying to bash users here, right? Because I'm one of those people that like stop bashing users, but they got access, supposedly, allegedly, got access to the Twitter Slack account that had pinned credentials to get into an administrative interface that gave you God access, right, to Twitter. That should have been accounted for. Right off the bat, the idea of pinning credentials that everybody uses. What? Like that. And I understand why that's attractive to people who are building internal tools and everything else like that. But I really think that's what we need to learn, is that we have to assume that we're going to lose that battle. Users are going to click things. People are going to fall for things. I've said it a million times. I've said it for years. I would like to believe that I am more security aware than the average bear, but I know that I'll fall for phishing. I know that I'll fall for the right social engineering attack, right? I'd like to lie to you and tell you I never would. That's crud, and you know it, right? And that's what I think people need to take away from this. I think that we're going to make a big deal about the fact that it was celebrities and, Elon Musk's account. No, I don't care. That to me, that's side notes, right?
I also think it's just scary that these attackers could have done things just way worse than what they did. And it was almost laughable when you're reading the article and the different articles that have come out and Twitter's own statement about how they got caught. It's just like, it's almost, did they want to get caught? Because they really didn't cover their tracks very well.
No. I think that, and not to be political or anything else like that, but I think that if you really wanted to cause damage, right, tweeting from a certain, White House account subtly would have been way more effective. Or, you know what I mean? Like that, I agree with you. This was, I'm in, I don't know how long I'm going to be in, so let me make as much as I possibly can, as fast as I possibly can. And I also think it's interesting that they threw Bitcoin addresses out there as, pay us this way. And I find it interesting how fast the Bitcoin infrastructure was able to start blocking transfers, especially since one of the big selling points of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is the lack of centralization, right? Like I think that was interesting. That has nothing to do with the hack or anything else like that. But that when they started saying, well, Coinbase is blocking transfers, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought that was the point. So what happens when that activist in China who's been paid by Bitcoin gets their transfers blocked? That's something I'm contemplating.
And now a word from our sponsor, Edgewise Networks. The biggest problem in security that remains unsolved are flat networks in cloud and data centers, with unprotected attack paths that allow threats to move laterally to cause data breaches. But microsegmentation using network addresses is complicated and takes too much time. But there's a better approach: Edgewise Zero Trust Auto Segmentation. Edgewise is impossibly simple microsegmentation, delivering results immediately with a security outcome that's provable. At the core of Edgewise Auto Segmentation is Zero Trust Identity, which allows workloads to communicate only after their software identity has been verified. Malicious or unimproved software is no longer allowed to communicate. Identity-based protection provides more coverage with fewer policies to make Edgewise simple to deploy and manage. No changes to the application or network are required. One solution protects virtual machines and containers in the cloud and on-premises. To stop lateral threat movement and prevent breaches, visit edgewise.net for a demo and to see results within minutes. So the other news this week too was more developments in this TikTok saga, right? But besides the fact that I'm seeing like Instagram now turning into TikTok, which not a lot of people are happy about. But there's controversy too, because now Microsoft came out and they said that they were considering buying TikTok to take the business here to the US, because Trump has said we're going to ban it. And all of this, of course, leads back to China. So I'm interested in your take of why is TikTok such a big deal, honestly? And from a cybersecurity and privacy perspective, like, is this really something we should all be clamoring about right now?
I don't believe we should be clamoring about it any more than any other mobile app we've talked about before, right? Yeah. This is ignoring the politics. And you want me to go on a rant? We'll talk about the constitutional issues with Trump banning TikTok. And I don't care about your politics. That's why we have a constitution. But ignoring all of that, ignoring the fact that this is completely driven by the fact that BTS Army went after Trump's rallies, the security aspects. This is an app. It collects data. I don't remember the person's name that originally did the decompiled, reverse engineered, whatever they phrased it as, the TikTok app. And what you'll learn is shocking. And I read that article, and I know I'm exaggerating the title, but right. I read that article and saw nothing shocking compared to anything else we've talked about with mobile apps. What was it, 12 years ago? Not that long ago, we started talking about mobile app. And actually, maybe it was 12 years ago when you and I did the Social Zombies 2 and talked about mobile apps. TikTok doesn't appear to be doing anything different from any of those other apps. And I get the idea that China is evil and everybody hates them and they're the monster under our bed. But the reality is China is associated with way more apps than just TikTok, right?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I believe, and I don't want to be political, but I honestly believe that this is noise driven by the White House and political people who want a story. And honestly, all of us cybersecurity people that are yelling, ban TikTok, are falling for it. And we should be embarrassed. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, we should all do like an analysis on the apps on our phones and how many of those are made by Chinese companies. I think people might be surprised.
Or Chinese related companies, right? Like this is, you don't have to be based in China to have ties to the Chinese government or even ties to organizations in China that the Chinese government can enforce their own laws against, right? And I know that TikTok has come out and said, oh no, we keep the data separate in Singapore and in London or whatever. And, data centers elsewhere. You can't convince me that if the Chinese government shows up at their offices, they're going to fight that good fight, right? They're not the dude in front of the tanks in Tiananmen Square.
So. Absolutely. So did you hear that story about Rite Aid that has deployed facial recognition cameras across a large number of their stores? And there was a big article in Reuters about that.
However you say it.
Reuters. And I found it interesting because it didn't get a lot of media attention, but I find it concerning that specifically around the fact that they deployed these cameras in low-income neighborhoods, such as like Skid Row in Los Angeles and those areas. You know, they seem to be targeting a specific demographic of people,
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
And the fact that they didn't install many of these cameras in high-income, high-wealth suburbs, you know, those areas.
Right.
I guess I wanted to get your thought of, you know, and Rite Aid aside, you know, facial recognition has been a hot topic in the privacy community, and I think a lot of people get concerned about, could I be profiled, right? Because of because of this technology, and as we know, and we've talked about on the show before, this technology is not proven to be 100% accurate. In fact, this article that you will link in our show notes goes on to say, you know, this technology is making false accusations, right? In shoplifting cases and other things. And they specifically point out that because these are installed in low-income neighborhoods, they are targeting Black people specifically, and the technology is misidentifying Black people, almost by the way it's designed. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this because it's just a very important topic, especially in this, you know, highly charged political, you know, racial, you know, world we're living in now.
I think that it's something that and I want to be very clear, this is not a Rite Aid problem. I think Rite Aid should have known better and shouldn't have rolled it out this way. But this is a problem that's been around for a very long time, that we train computing systems on a very heavily weighted data set, weighted toward Caucasian, light-skinned, right? And so because we've trained them that way, it's always been, what was it, in the 90s, Logitech released a camera that was supposed to focus on your face, right? It was none of this AI machine learning stuff. It literally was just supposed to say, oh, there's a face over there, and focus on it. And there were a lot of complaints that if you were darker skinned, it couldn't see you because it wasn't able to recognize the key points it was looking for. The reflections were different on darker skin, and all the way from, you know, very, very tan people to Blacks and minority Black people and minority people. This has been known for decades. And so I don't understand why we're not working to fix that. And I get the argument, well, it's not because they were targeting Black people, it's because they were targeting high crime areas. But, you know, then we can get into the conversation about why are they considered high crime areas and bad policing and stuff like that. We have to deal with the fact that facial recognition is going to happen. The Rite Aid is just an example. And I know that the privacy people, and I happen to agree with the privacy people, that this is a problem, this is going to be used badly, it's going to be abused, but we're not going to win that fight. And I'm not giving up on it, I'm just saying we're not going to win it. So what we need to do is we need to start figuring out ways to break it. There's been research on makeup patterns and hats with LEDs and things like that. And then, in my opinion, we need to start socializing that. I honestly think it's one of the best things that's come out of COVID, is that it has become the normal to wear a mask. And I wish more people.
We talked about that several months ago when all this thing started. Remember, we were like, wow, everyone should be wearing masks. I hope that becomes a trend. And look what happened.
Yeah. But I think that we should actively be trying to invalidate the efforts to do facial recognition.
Yeah.
And I get the positives to facial recognition. I personally like the idea that if I walk into a store, which I don't want to do anyways because I like staying home, but that it knows what I like and it can direct me to the right area in the store. I like that. But I don't think that's worth the risk. And so I don't think we're going to win at not having it. So let's win by breaking it. Let's feed it fake data. Let's invalidate what it's doing. And I think that's the right way to handle it. Sorry, a little bit of a rant.
No, good stuff. And kind of the side story to that was the technology is linked back to, guess who? China.
Yeah. Yeah, where they've been doing this for a long time. And I hate to say it, but doing it effectively, right? Badly for the people who are involved, but effectively.
That's all for this week's show. Visit our website, sharedsecurity.net, for all previous episodes and to sign up for our email newsletter. First-time listener to the show? Please subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the Shared Security Show.